The Dream That Killed, the true story of Sugar Ray Robinson and Jimmy Doyle. Introduction. This is not just a boxing story. It is a true story about a dream that became reality, about a punch that changed two families forever, and about how one of the greatest fighters in history was haunted for the rest of his life by a single moment in the ring. In June 1947, Sugar Ray Robinson, widely considered one of the greatest boxers of all time, defended his world welterweight title against a young contender named Jimmy Doyle. The fight ended in tragedy, but what makes this story unique and chilling is what happened the night before. Robinson dreamt he would kill Doyle in the ring with a left hook. The next day, that very thing happened. This is the full account, step by step, fact by fact, of that fight, that dream, and the aftermath that followed. Chapter 1. The Champion. Sugar Ray Robinson was born Walker Smith Jr. on May 3, 1921 in Ely, Georgia, and raised in Harlem, New York. By 1947, at the age of 26, he had already made a name for himself as a boxing prodigy. He was fast, fluid, and feared. He entered the ring with grace, fought with precision, and left opponents bewildered by his speed and power. By the time he faced Jimmy Doyle, Robinson's record stood at an astonishing 73 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw, with 48 knockouts. He was the reigning world welterweight champion, known for his devastating left hook, the same punch that would later become infamous. Robinson was a superstar. His fights drew massive crowds. Promoters saw him as a money machine, a man who could sell tickets and fill arenas. Every bout was a spectacle. Chapter 2. The Challenger. Jimmy Doyle was 22 years old. He was born James Emerson Delaney in Los Angeles, California, on August 12, 1924. Doyle was of Irish and African-American descent, and like many young men of his time, he turned to boxing as a way to lift himself and his family out of poverty. He had talent, but his career was rough. Doyle had already been knocked out several times and had suffered serious injuries in the ring. In fact, a few years before this fight, he had been knocked unconscious in a bout and spent time recovering from a brain injury. Doctors cleared him to fight again, but in hindsight, it was a dangerous decision. For Doyle, the fight against Sugar Ray Robinson was not just another match. It was the opportunity of a lifetime. The purse promised enough money to finally buy his mother a house, something he had sworn he would do. He was not the favorite to win, but he carried hope and desperation in his gloves. Chapter 3. The Dream. On the night of June 23, 1947, Robinson stayed in his Cleveland hotel room, trying to rest before the fight. As he slept, he had a vivid, disturbing dream. He saw himself in the ring with Doyle. He threw a left hook, one of his signature punches. Doyle went down lifeless. The crowd fell silent. The referee waved it off. Doyle was dead. Robinson woke up in a cold sweat. This was not just a bad dream. He described it later as so real, so detailed, that it felt like a warning. The next morning, Robinson told his trainers, his manager, even the fight promoters, "I can't fight this man. I dreamed I killed him." This was not the kind of excuse fighters gave before a match. Robinson was serious. He wanted to withdraw. Chapter 4. Pressure to fight. Canceling a championship fight was not simple. Tickets had been sold. The arena was ready. Promoters had invested heavily. Fans had traveled to see the champion defend his title. Money was at stake, a lot of it. The promoters panicked when Robinson said he would not fight. They pleaded with him, insisting it was just nerves, just superstition. They told him fighters often get anxious before big matches. To convince him, they brought in a Catholic priest and a minister to talk to him. They prayed with him, reassured him that dreams do not predict the future, that fate is not decided by visions in the night. Under immense pressure, and with the weight of an entire event on his shoulders, Robinson reluctantly agreed to go ahead with the fight. Chapter 5. The Fight Night. June 24, 1947. Cleveland Arena was packed with thousands of fans. The atmosphere was electric. Cigarette smoke hung in the air. The crowd buzzed with expectation. Robinson entered the ring in his usual calm, focused manner, but those close to him noticed he was different that night. Quieter, more reserved. The dream lingered. Jimmy Doyle, determined and focused, stood across from him. For Doyle, this was his shot at glory. For Robinson, it felt like walking into fate. The bell rang. Round 1 began. Chapter 6: The Battle. The early rounds were competitive. Doyle fought aggressively, pushing the action. He landed jabs and tried to close the distance, but Robinson's skill was obvious. He controlled the pace, using his footwork to stay just out of range, landing sharp counters. Rounds 2 and 3 showed Doyle's resilience. He absorbed punches, pressed forward, and landed a few solid shots of his own. Robinson, however, was careful, unusually cautious for a man known for his fluid combinations. By the middle rounds, the champion began to take control. His timing sharpened, his jab found its target repeatedly, and Doyle started to slow. The 8th round came. This was the moment that would define the night. Chapter 7: The Punch. Midway through the 8th, Robinson saw an opening. Doyle's guard dipped for a fraction of a second. Robinson's instincts took over. He threw a left hook, fast, precise, and powerful. The punch connected cleanly on Doyle's jaw. His body stiffened, then crumpled to the canvas. At first, the crowd erupted in cheers. They thought they had seen a dramatic knockout. But as seconds turned into a minute and Doyle did not move, the cheers turned into uneasy murmurs, then silence. Medical personnel rushed into the ring. Doyle was unconscious, breathing shallowly. He was carried out on a stretcher, rushed to St. Vincent Charity Hospital. Chapter 8: The Aftermath. Robinson won by knockout. Officially, he had defended his title, but in the locker room there was no celebration. Word came later that night. Jimmy Doyle had died from a brain injury caused by the punch, the very punch Robinson had seen in his dream. Robinson was devastated. Reporters described him as pale, shaken, and withdrawn. He said little to the press. In the following days, he made a decision that showed his character. He donated his entire fight purse to Doyle's family. The money was used to buy the house that Jimmy had promised his mother. Chapter 9: The Haunting. Sugar Ray Robinson continued his career. He became one of the most successful boxers in history. 173 wins, 108 knockouts, world titles in multiple weight classes. He is often called the greatest pound-for-pound fighter of all time. But he never forgot that night. In interviews years later, he still spoke of the dream. He said he had tried to avoid the fight. He said the vision had been too real. "I tried to stop it," Robinson recalled. "I tried not to fight him, but they wouldn't let me, and then it happened exactly as I dreamed it." That single moment haunted him for the rest of his life. Chapter 10: Legacy. The tragedy of Jimmy Doyle led to more attention on medical clearances in boxing. Many argued that Doyle should never have been allowed to fight, considering his previous head injuries. For Robinson, the event humanized a man often remembered only for his brilliance in the ring. It showed the burden fighters carry, the line they walk between sport and survival. To this day, the story is told as one of boxing's most chilling events. A dream that became a prophecy, a fight that became a nightmare, and a victory that felt like defeat. This is not a legend. It is a documented, tragic piece of boxing history. On June 24, 1947, a left hook thrown in Cleveland fulfilled a dream that Sugar Ray Robinson wished had never come true. Jimmy Doyle's name is often a footnote in boxing's long list of fallen fighters, but behind that name was a son, a dreamer, and a man who stepped into the ring chasing a promise to his mother. And Sugar Ray Robinson, the champion who killed a man with a punch he had already seen in his sleep. would carry that ghost with him for the rest of his days.